The other unusual fact about its trajectory is that it comes very close to the inner planets other than Earth.
The more scientists study 3ISO Atlas, the more frightening the reality becomes. What began as a seemingly ordinary comet wandering through our solar system has now revealed something no other comet in history has ever displayed. Initially, it appeared to be a faint echo of Muamua, another peculiar object passing through interstellar space. But as researchers looked closer, more and more evidence began to accumulate, until finally NASA confirmed a finding that completely altered the conversation. 3I Atlas was caught emitting a mysterious metal that points to a technological origin. Not dust, not gas, but pure nickel is being vented into space without its natural partner iron. This discovery is more than just unusual. It's something nature cannot possibly produce. Nickel and iron are created together in the powerful explosions of dying stars. They are fused side by side in asteroids and in every meteorite that has ever fallen to Earth. Finding nickel alone means just one thing: a machine processing technology. For years, Avi Loeb attempted to warn us that not all interstellar visitors might be natural. He proposed some could be probes disguised as comets slipping into star systems unnoticed. Scientists mocked him. They laughed at the very notion. But now that warning is no longer just a theory. 3I Atlas is not behaving like a comet. It appears to be a technological body wrapped in dust to look natural, but betraying itself with the waste it cannot conceal. In the natural universe, nickel and iron are twins. They are forged together inside exploding stars, and they always travel as a pair. Asteroids, meteorites, and comets that contain metals exhibit the same signature nickel and iron side by side. Yet 3I Atlas is venting only nickel streaming into space in measurable quantities. The only place humans have ever seen this separation is within industrial processes. When nickel-titanium alloys are forged on Earth waste, nickel is expelled, while the iron remains absent. These alloys are called shaped memory metals, super-elastic materials that can be bent and still return to their original form when heated. They're perfect for aerospace applications. And now an interstellar object is producing the same exact chemical signature, as if something inside it is manufacturing alloys and releasing the byproducts into space. If that is the case, this object is not geology, it is engineering. The chemistry surrounding it only strengthens the argument. Spectra captured by the James Webb Space Telescope revealed something no other comet has ever shown. A gaseous cloud made of 95% carbon dioxide and only 5% water. Standard comets are rich in water ice, leaving behind long, bright trails of vapor as they are warmed by the sun. 3 Atlas, however, does not. It expels carbon dioxide instead, almost as if it's breathing out the exhaust of a metabolism. Even more strangely, carbon monoxide, another gas common in comets, is missing completely. In addition, cyanide was detected in its plume. Cyanide is rarely found in comets, but in metallurgy it is widely utilized for coating and polishing metals. The combination of pure nickel cyanide and an atmosphere dominated by carbon dioxide is not a random mix of space chemistry. It is the unmistakable fingerprint of industry. Yet even before the discovery of this metal, the object's behavior was suspicious. As early as last May, when it was 6 times farther from the Sun than Earth is 3. Atlas was already venting gas. At that distance, sunlight is far too weak to melt anything. No comet in history has ever become active so far from the Sun. Yet this one woke up in the freezing dark, glowing with activity. The only logical explanation is that something inside is producing its own heat. The most likely candidate would be a nuclear reactor. A nuclear-powered core could keep the object alive across interstellar space, slowly burning and releasing heat, allowing it to vent even in the cold. If this is true, then this is not a rock at all. It's a machine with a nuclear heart, disguised beneath a stony shell. The dust cloud surrounding it has also defied all expectations. Comets typically trail dust and gas away from the sun, pushed by solar radiation. But for months, 3I Atlas carried a haze that seemed to move forward, leading the object rather than following it. The dust was not being blown away naturally. It was being forced in a direction that physics cannot account for. Only a controlled exhaust or electromagnetic fields could explain it. The image isn't of a dirty snowball, but of a machine surrounded by a sphere of influence scooping up material and collecting raw resources from space. Only later, as it drew closer to the sun, did a short, stubby tail finally emerge. But even that tail was far too small for the amount of dust a natural object should be producing. It looked more like residue than a comet's plume. When scientists calculated the amount of nickel being vented, the results were stunning. At least half a metric ton has already been released, and the rate is increasing as it nears the sun. In industrial terms, that much nickel waste could represent the production of 50 kilojoules of finished alloy. In other words, this object could be actively processing material inside its body, using dust as a raw material, manufacturing something within, and discarding the waste. And if cyanide is present, it could be coating those alloys, plating surfaces, and repairing itself as it travels. The pattern is far too precise to be mere chance. Step back and consider the bigger picture. A rock should not behave like this. A comet should not wake up in the dark, should not vent pure nickel, should not exhale cyanide, should not lead with its haze, and should not disguise itself in a shell of dust. And if it truly is a probe, the question then becomes, who built it and why? One answer is that it could be part of a terrifying concept scientists have theorized about for decades. Self-replicating machines, often known as von Neumann probes. They aren't ships with crews. They are automated harvesters designed to travel across the galaxy on their own. They land in star systems, collect raw materials, build copies of themselves, and then launch those copies into the next system. Slowly, step by step, they spread everywhere. There's even a precedent for this kind of activity. Back in 2008, astronomers observed something unexplainable. An entire young star system lost its protoplanetary disk, the raw dust and rock from which planets are born, in just 2 years. That was roughly 10 to the power of 22 kilojoules of material gone almost overnight on cosmic timescales. No natural explanation has ever made sense. Not accretion, not radiation, not black holes, but a fleet of machines harvesting that material could. If such machines do exist, then 3I Atlas may be one of them. It's not a spaceship like the USS Enterprise, but an engineered rock alive with machinery disguised as a comet powered by a reactor and feeding on dust. For over a century, Earth has been leaking signals into space. In 1936, the Berlin Olympic Games became one of the first major television broadcasts powerful enough to leave our atmosphere. By the 1970s, we weren't just leaking signals, we were intentionally sending them out. In 1974, the famous Arecibo message was broadcast toward the star cluster M13, a powerful radio transmission carrying a coded snapshot of human knowledge, including our DNA, our solar system, and even the outline of a human figure. Later came projects like the Cosmic Call messages in 1999 and 2003, and the Teenage Message beamed to nearby stars from Ukraine. Each one of these transmissions was a flare in the dark, telling the universe that someone was here. And it wasn't just us sending. We've also been listening. And what we've heard has been unsettling. In 1977, a strange, powerful radio burst hit the Big Ear radio telescope in Ohio. It lasted 72 seconds, and when astronomer Jerry Amon saw the printout, he circled it and wrote a single word in the margin. Wow. To this day, no one has been able to explain that signal. It came from deep space in the direction of Sagittarius and has never been repeated. More recently, in 2019, astronomers picked up an unexplained narrowband radio signal from the direction of Proxima Centauri, our closest neighboring star. It was strong and artificial-looking, and then it simply vanished. We have been sending signals, and we have been receiving signals. None of them have clear explanations. And now, as if on cue, 3I Atlas drifts into our solar system. A body cloaked as a comet, but exhibiting the fingerprints of technology. The timing is too close to disregard. We sent our voice out into the dark, and perhaps the dark has finally answered. This might prove that 3I Atlas is not a comet, and it's not a rock. It is a probe made of metal, burning with nuclear fire disguised as stone. It's exhaling the waste of metallurgy and the breath of life. It is proof we are not alone. Proof that technology has already traversed the stars, and proof that humanity's place in the universe is about to change forever. So do you still think 3I Atlas is just a comet? Or is it proof that someone out there has already found us? And if you want to follow every new discovery about 3I Atlas as it unfolds, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications because you won't want to miss what comes next.